Hey folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. Going to do a Mike's Instant Movie Review. Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1. You might be wondering, why the condescension in your voice, Mike? It's just because I'm a little sick of, like everybody, perhaps, sick of sequels. I like certain sequel series, like the Creed movies, the Rocky movies. I did do a review on Creed 3 and Creed 2 and probably Creed 1. If you're new here, new to the channel, as they say on YouTube, you can go to my playlist, Mike's Instant Movie Reviews. I've been doing this for about 5 years. I go to the movies a lot. I have the AMC app. I have the Cinemark app. I used to have the Regal app. I might get that again just to support Regal Cinemas. I like movies. What can I tell you? I make movies myself, One Man in the Camera Films. So that's another YouTube channel. Let's talk about Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. Now, I was kind of curious because I was like, man, I remember seeing the first Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise movie when I was very small, very young. And I did, research, meaning I went on the internet for 2 seconds and discovered that the year that movie came out was 1996. And I actually saw the movie, the first one, back in 1996 in Los Angeles. One of these historic LA theaters. I was there with my sister and my uncle and so forth, and we had a good time. But I was thinking, God, 1996, and now it's 2023. So if my math is not mistaken, that is 27 years of these fucking movies. And, no offense, Tom. I mean, but that's probably older than most of you watching this review, right? So I feel like something like Top Gun Maverick last summer, that's the way to do a sequel. And maybe, my expectations are raised because I'm holding Tom and Associates to that level of the Top Gun Maverick movie, which is a sequel that I didn't think I needed until I did. Because I wasn't a huge mark for the first Top Gun movie. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I think Top Gun Maverick last year was awesome. I saw it 5 fucking times in the theater, yes. And look, I do have some issues with Tom Cruise. Specifically, I feel like he's got a blind spot to this whole Scientology thing. No offense, Tom, if you happen to be watching this. If Tom's just perusing the Mike Messier universe, okay, one Mike Messier, and he says, well, gee whiz, Mike, tell me more about my issues with Scientology. Well, Tom, I'll tell you. You're in a cult. Everybody knows it but you. And maybe you're benefiting from this cult because they're pumping money into your pockets and so forth, and giving you the aggrandizement that your ego desires. But for people who are not on the top rung, who haven't, gone clear or whatever the fuck, they're all getting fucked up by your goddamned weird cult. But anyway, you still make good movies. Still love you, Tom, TC. So let's talk about this fucking movie. I kind of feel like I went into this movie not in a great mood. I had just tried to donate blood I believe it was last Saturday or Sunday. I could not donate blood. I did a fucking Mike's One Blood Drive rant about that. Very angry because the blood drive screwed me over. It was a super hot day, a 90-minute wait to donate blood. I recalibrated my day. I went to the post office. I dropped off some things from the Foreign Object eBay store. And I had some nice Asian lunch, and then I said, what the fuck am I going to do with my day? And I was so goddamn hot and miserable, I went to see the fucking Tom Cruise movie. Big screen, Dolby Digital, nice screen, awesome, good theater, AMC Regency here in Jacksonville, Florida. Everything was all set. Pretty good audience, too, like a healthy audience, but not packed, not elbow-to-elbow assholes like you've been seeing in a lot of theaters these days. Sound of Freedom's been packed, not with assholes, but with nice people. But this one, it was a healthy crowd, but I was just happy to get the fuck out of the hot sun, you know what I mean? And seeing the movie, I was impressed. Like, it's another impressive movie, like the special effects, the train scenes, spoilers, by the way. A lot of things in this Tom Cruise movie, I was like, okay, I can go with this. And it did feel in some regard, and I didn't hate in the new Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny either. I did do a review on that. I didn't hate that like a lot of people did. But I do think in this movie, Tom Cruise, his character is not being castrated or emasculated like the Harrison Ford Indiana Jones character in that new one. I mean, you don't feel like Tom Cruise, however old he is, 55, 60. You don't, you know, he looks pretty good, basically. Now, there are a couple of scenes where, once again, spoiler, where he's trying to kill someone, he's trying to stab somebody, and like his face kind of looks weird, and it's just because it's like, hey, you get to be older, and your face looks weird. You know what I mean? Like, none of us stays 30 forever. It's going to be tough when I get to that point myself. So it's like, everyone looks a little bit older, everyone gets older, and your face gets all fucking weird and old and shit. So, you know, if you're a woman and you're looking for or a guy, I guess, if you're looking for Tom Cruise dancing in his skivvies like it's Risky Business 1982, that's not going to happen here, okay, folks? You got to kind of give the guy a little bit of a break. Now, the good thing is, they don't, sorry women, sorry misogyny, but they don't feel the need to cast 60-year-old women across from Tom Cruise in this thing. Although there's a few that would be pleasant, I suppose. I'm trying to think of one. I mean, Mary Steenburgen still looks great, and so forth. But they basically cast like 30, 35-year-old women across from Cruise. I mean, not as young as his real-life wives, okay? No offense, Kate or whatever the fuck. But they do cast typical Hollywood shit. They cast younger women across the older guy. Not that there's like really romance. There's no James Bond. It's not 1970s Sean Connery or even Roger Moore 1980s James Bond. You don't see him bedding these beauties. It's all business. It's all strictly business. But of course, the women are attractive, and they're more like, you know, 25 to 35 tops, probably 30ish. There's two. I really like that blonde Russian lady. I don't even know if she was Russian, but the one that in the fucking, like the SUV that was trying to kill him. So there's a couple of good scenes, in this thing with chase scenes and craziness and all types of stuff, like things that are really pretty wild. So, I mean, those scenes kind of do make the movie. But being a little distracted here. There are a couple of things that in the movie, chase scenes, I guess there's aerobics class about to start or something. So there's all these scenes that are pretty intense. Chase scenes, cars getting smashed, bumper to bumper, crush, you know what I mean? And those scenes were fun. Kind of reminded me, you know, a little bit of what Fast and the Furious X was doing, you know, and I think the problem with the Fast and the Furious movies, to go on a rant minorly, a lot of times those movies, like the highlights are the chase scenes and the crash scenes, and then the story is a little bit thin. I kind of feel like that here with Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1. What's the goddamn storyline? You know, I'm fearful, I could be wrong, but they're trying to put these two pieces of a goddamn key together. You know, this half of the key is over here, and this half of the key is over here. I mean, didn't they do that in the Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, or is that just the one fucking dial? But this, it's like, oh, some asshole's got half a key, some other asshole's got half the key. If you have the key, you have all the power in the world. And I could have been just phasing in and out, but was all the power in the world basically in this Mission Impossible movie to manipulate time? Is it another fucking time goddamned movie? Like, can we get over this shit already? Yes, time travel, all these other things. I recently had to revise, I didn't have to, but I did. I revised one of my scripts because I had kind of a multiple universe, you know, discussion in one of my scripts, A Distance from Avalon, and I said, you know what, I'm so sick of all these multiverse things, I'm actually going to take this out of my fucking script because I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of fucking multiverse things and so forth, and I'm sick of it with myself in my own writings. So there you go. I wish these assholes would do what I do and listen to me, but they don't. So moving forth, I don't know. The word that came to mind with this Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, so goddamn presumptuous. At least they're telling us that it's an unfinished story. Like, okay, assholes, if you buy a ticket for this, we'll see you in December or whenever the fuck to see the second part. At least there's no mystery to that. And if they're smart, they will make the second part like a December release or something like that, just to keep the mojo going, you know what I mean? Because if they let this thing ride for another summer, no one's going to care. There's going to be some new toys to play with. Or the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strike is going to fuck up the whole business, blah, blah, blah. So, whatever the fuck. So, moving forth, the word that came to mind was swashbuckling. Like, I do kind of, every once in a while, you know, a friend of mine, you know, once told me that he likes, I was trying to tell him this guy, just go see this movie or whatever the fuck. And he asked me, Mike, does this movie have suspense? And I'm like, shit, well, that's pretty specific. Like for him, the word suspense was like a big fucking deal. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I got to have a movie with suspense. Okay. For me, I don't really seek out this type of movie, but when it does occur, I typically enjoy it if I'm in the right mood, which is swashbuckling. And I would say something like, to give Dwayne Johnson credit, I know he, you know, him and Black Adam and the whole world blew up. But I thought that the Jungle Cruise movie, that's what it was called, Disney's Jungle Cruise, I thought that was a goddamn good movie last summer or whenever the fuck it came out. And I do like the blonde chick that's in that one too. But for me, this swashbuckling thing, looks like another aerobics student of some kind. The swashbuckling thing, I think, is fun when you have, like, you know, big fight scenes or big fucking rescue scenes or big, you know, someone's gonna fall off a train into the Grand Canyon scenes. And that type of shit is in this fucking Mission Impossible quite a bit. So if you can forgive the fact that apparently this is the 7th fucking Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie since 1996. If you can forgive the fact that if you buy a ticket for this one, you'll probably have to go see the second part. If you can forgive the fact that the whole put the keys together thing is so goddamn stupid. If you can forgive all these facts, you'll probably be like me and sort of enjoy the movie. Like, you're like watching it, you're like, okay, this is kind of cool. But it's not, the story is not rocking my goddamn world. And as a fucking author, published author myself, and as a wonderful screenwriter myself and an actor and so forth, I have higher standards than most of you, no offense. So I'm just going to say, okay, Tom, we get it. Swashbuckling, pretty women in their 30s or 25 or whatever, and you know, and blah, blah, blah. And so Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. Mission Impossible is pretty much what you'd expect. You know, if like you have seen the other ones and you're all into them. I'm not all into them. I don't know if these movies have like a real loyal fan following. Like, I don't know if people, you know, Jones fuck themselves for these things, or if they just go see them out of habit. Like, oh, Tom Cruise, let's go see it. You know what I mean? We've all been trained like Pavlovian dogs to see certain actors. Oh, it's this asshole, it's that asshole, let's go see it. And it's hot, so we want air conditioning, let's go see it. I get it, I'm among the marks too. I just thought it was like, it was okay. I mean, I wasn't rocked. I wasn't not rocked. I mean, I think another thing, folks, and I hate to bring this up, but I will. A lot of these movies, you know, that us Americans are sick of, they play well in other countries. And, you know, I'm not picking on the other countries, but when they think of Americans, they think of, you know, big, dumb cowboys who fucking shoot people. You know what I mean? So why would they think that? But basically, that's how they view us, and they like these big, crazy movies. You know what I mean? By the way, I did review some films from India the last year or so. The first one I saw was great. It was about this kid who was like dying, and his mom trying to help him. And then like the ones I saw after that were not so great. So I mean, I kind of feel like my standard for these Indian films were really high, and then they quickly devolved, and then I stopped going to see them. So maybe that's on me. But anyway, folks, if you have any questions, comments, queries, or whatever the fucks, go ahead. Once again, this is one Mike Messier. I do my Mike's Instant Movie Reviews. Should you go see it? Should you go not? I think it's like you could or you couldn't. It's like really like a thing where it's not going to hurt you to see this Mission Impossible movie, but it's not going to change your life for the better either. There's no big fucking message. It's pure adrenaline escapism. If you are going to see it, this is definitely a movie to see on the biggest possible screen. There's so many theaters now with XD screens, Big D screens, IMAX, Dolby Digital, which is pretty much my favorite. Go see a movie. You know, the seats recline these days in most theaters. So, I mean, this is a movie you do want to see on the big screen if you choose to see it. One Man in a Camera Films for my stuff. You can watch for free. One Man in a Camera Films. Okay, see you folks.